watching South Asia Newsline and here are the top stories we are tracking for you on Friday, the 6th of February. India keeps key rates steady as trade deals boost outlook. Pakistan PM rakes up Kashmir issue, activists expose fraud Solidarity Day. And Bangladesh Foreign Affairs Advisor admits strain in ties with India. And now for all the details. India's central bank kept interest rates unchanged on Friday, citing a stable inflation outlook and improved growth prospects following key trade agreements with the United States and Europe. The Reserve Bank of India's Monetary Policy Committee voted unanimously to hold the repo rate at 5.25% in line with market expectations. The policy stance was retained at neutral, indicating rates are likely to stay low in the near term. Governor Sanjay Malhotra said while global headwinds have intensified, recent trade deals augur well for India's economic outlook. A free trade agreement with the European Union and a prospective tariff deal with the United States, expected by March, are seen easing pressure on exports and markets. Under the US agreement, tariffs on Indian exports are set to fall from nearly 50% to 18%. India has also signed trade pacts with the UK, Oman and New Zealand in the past year.
The MPC noted that since the last policy meeting, external headwinds have intensified, though the successful completion of trade deals augurs well for the economic outlook. Overall, the near-term domestic inflation and growth outlook remain positive.
Inflation remains subdued, averaging close to 2% this financial year, well below the RBI's 4% target. However, the central bank flagged risks from geopolitical tensions, energy price volatility and adverse weather. India's economy is projected to grow between 6.8% and 7.2% in this financial year, supported by strong domestic demand, public spending and resilient services exports. And at least 18 people were killed in an explosion at an illegal rat hole coal mine in India's Meghalaya, triggering large-scale rescue and recovery operations by the National Disaster Response Force. Authorities fear the death toll could rise as teams continued searching the site. The blast occurred on Thursday morning inside the unauthorized mine. A senior district official said rescue teams entered the mine on Friday to retrieve bodies, amid concerns that more workers may still be trapped. Meghalaya's Chief Minister Conrad K. Sangma assured swift action against those responsible, reiterating that illegal mining will not be tolerated. He announced an ex gratia of 3 lakh rupees from the state government for each deceased. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also expressed grief and announced relief of 2 lakh rupees for families of the deceased and rupees 50,000 for the injured. Rat hole mining, a hazardous practice involving narrow tunnels barely large enough to crawl through, was banned by the National Green Tribunal in 2014 due to repeated fatal accidents and severe environmental damage. A federal government estimate says at least 63 people have died in illegal rat hole mining incidents in Meghalaya and Assam since 2012. Pakistan's Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif has raked up Kashmir issue again, saying that the region would become a part of Pakistan as the country observed its so-called Kashmir Solidarity Day. Meanwhile, political activists in POJK and abroad exposed the fake solidarity by staging protest. We have a report.
Pakistan Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif once again raked up the Kashmir issue while addressing the assembly in Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir on February 5, marking what Islamabad calls Kashmir Solidarity Day, an event activists from the region term a fraudulent political exercise. Sharif claimed that Kashmir will become a part of Pakistan, reiterating what he described as Islamabad's unwavering support for the Kashmiri people. His remarks have triggered fresh tensions with India, which has consistently rejected Pakistan's claims over the illegally occupied region. Meanwhile, activists from Pakistan-occupied Jammu and Kashmir and Gilgit-Baltistan strongly countered Islamabad's narrative. The United Kashmir People's National Party accused Pakistan of systematic political, social and economic oppression in POJK and POGB while falsely projecting itself as a defender of Kashmiri rights. Protesters gathered outside the Pakistan High Commission in the UK, raising slogans and calling Pakistan's solidarity claims a mockery. Activists warned that Pakistan's proposed 28th constitutional amendment would further erode rights and worsen the human rights situation in the occupied regions. They demanded Pakistan's withdrawal and restoration of fundamental freedoms. Meanwhile, in India's Jammu and Kashmir, people delivered a clear response to Pakistan's claims, waving the tricolour in a bike rally, and residents reaffirmed their identity as Indians, asserting pride in their democratic choice. Activists also noted that most Kashmiris remain indifferent to Pakistan's February 5 observance, calling it a move driven largely by Pakistan's domestic political interests.
And news just in, a powerful explosion rocked a mosque in Islamabad during Friday prayers, sending shockwaves through the Pakistani capital. Initial reports indicated a suicide bomber detonated explosives at the main gate of the Shia place of worship, with multiple casualties feared. Moving on, Foreign Affairs Advisor of Bangladesh, Tauheed Hossain, on Thursday acknowledged that Bangladesh-India relations faced setbacks during the tenure of the interim government led by Muhammad Yunus. He also expressed hope that the next elected government would be able to overcome the challenges and foster smooth bilateral ties through continued cooperation. Speaking at a views exchange meeting with the media at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Hossain emphasized that from the beginning, the interim government had placed importance on maintaining a good working relationship with New Delhi. Hossain also assured that the upcoming elected government would find ways to address the existing challenges between the two countries. Responding to questions regarding extradition request made by Bangladesh for former Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, the Foreign Affairs Advisor said that no feedback had been received from India so far. Meanwhile, as Bangladesh heads into polls, voters in Sheikh Hasina's hometown of Gopalganj are facing an unfamiliar ballot, with the Awami League absent for the first time in decades. The shift has left residents divided. We have a report.
For the first time in decades, the Awami League's iconic boat symbol is missing from election posters in Gopalganj, the hometown of ousted Bangladeshi Premier Sheikh Hasina. Instead, rivals like the BNP, Jamaat-e-Islami and Independents are campaigning ahead of the February 12 polls. Long considered the Awami League's safest seat, Gopalganj produced both Hasina and her father, Bangladesh founder Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. Hasina ruled for over 15 years until a youth-led uprising toppled her in August 2024, forcing her into exile in India. Her party is barred from the election under an interim government led by Nobel laureate Muhammad Yunus. Hasina told Reuters in October via email that the absence of the Awami League would leave millions of supporters without a candidate and push many to boycott the election.
আমি 13 জনের আমি একটা লোকের ভোট দিতে যাচ্ছি কেন তখন আমার ভালো লাগে না তাই একমাত্র নৌকো যদি প্রতীক পাই নৌকোয় আমরা ভোট দেব তাছাড়া আমরা কাউরে ভোট দেব না।
A Dhaka court late last year sentenced Sheikh Hasina to death for ordering a deadly crackdown on the 2024 uprising, which she has denied. A UN report estimated up to 1,400 people were killed and thousands injured, mostly by security force gunfire. A recent survey found nearly half of former Awami League voters now back the BNP, the frontrunner in opinion polls, while about 30% favor Jamaat.
ভোট দেবো না, ভোট তো দিতেই হবে। ভোট একটা তো আমাদের একটা অধিকার, আমার একটা ব্যক্তিগত একটা অধিকার, আমি তো ভোট তো দিতেই হবে। আজকে আওয়ামী লীগ নেই, বিএনপি আছে, জামাত আছে, আরো এনসিপি আছে, এটা তো ভোট তো দিতেই হবে। ভোটটা তো আমাদের সাধারণ জনগণের একটা অধিকার। ভোট না দিয়ে তো নষ্ট করে লাভ নাই।
In Gopalganj, families of Awami League activists say the post-Hasina transition has taken a heavy personal toll. Shikha Khanum said her 30-year-old brother, student wing activist Ibrahim Hossain, was arrested in December under the Anti-Terrorism Act over unrest at a rally last July, alleging he was falsely implicated. Her family has since withdrawn from politics.
আমরা কিরম বাংলাদেশের নাগরিক হলাম, আমরা যদি স্বাধীনভাবে বসবাস করতে পারলাম না, পুলিশের তাড়া থাকলো, স্বাধীনভাবে বসবাস করতে পারলাম না, তা আমরা যে নাগরিক মানবে কিনা, কে মানে? আপনারা কি মানেন যে আমরা নাগরিক? আমরা যদি নাগরিক হতাম, ফাঁসির আসামি হলে অনেক সময় বেল পায়, আমরা কোনো মামলায় লড়তেই পারবো না, বেল পাবো না, তাহলে আমরা দেশের নাগরিক কিভাবে হলাম?
The July rally in Gopalganj, organized by the newly formed student-led National Citizen Party to mark the 2024 uprising, left 5 people dead in clashes with police. Several Awami League activists and members of minority communities said they are now living in fear. Businessman Sheikh Ilyas Ahmed hopes the upcoming vote will finally allow people to choose freely.
গত 3 বারের নির্বাচনে ভোট কেন্দ্রে যাইয়া কেউই ভোট দিতে পারিনি।
কারণটা কি?
কারণটা নির্বাচনী কেন্দ্রে গেছি, যাই শুনছি যে আমার ভোট দেওয়া হয়ে গেছে।
তাহলে এবার একটা স্বচ্ছ নির্বাচন আশা করতেছেন?
এবার আশা করি যে এইবার একটা সুন্দর স্বচ্ছ নির্বাচন হবে, এবং এই নির্বাচনে জনগণ তাদের ইচ্ছামতো প্রার্থীকে ভোট দিয়ে নির্বাচিত করতে পারবে।
Moving on, sacred Buddhist relics from India have been exhibited in their first ever international exposition in Sri Lanka's capital Colombo, attracting large crowds of devotees. Buddhism remains a shared civilizational link between India and Sri Lanka, forming the foundation of centuries-old spiritual and cultural ties between the nations. The Devni Mori relics were brought to Sri Lanka for a public exposition, fulfilling a commitment made last year by India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deepen the spiritual and cultural bonds between the two nations. A devotee on Thursday said it felt like she has seen Buddha as she worshipped the relic. The exposition will be reportedly held at Ganga Ramaya Temple until 11th of February.
මම ඇත්තටම ඉතාමත් බෞද්ධ පරිසරයක ජීවත් වෙන භාවනා වැඩසටහනකට සහභාගී වෙන කෙනෙක්. ඉතින් මම අපේ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේ දැක්කහා සමාන දෙයක් තමයි මට දැනුනේ.
වන්දනා කරනකොට ඒ හැඟීම ඇති වෙන මුළු මේ තරම් මහා ධර්මස්කන්ධයක් දේශනා කිරීම මීට අවුරුදු 2500කට උඩදී කළා නම් ඒ මොනතරම් බලගත්ු ධර්ම දේශනාවක්ද කියන එක අපිට නිතරම වැටහෙනවා.
That's all in tonight's edition. We will see you same time next week. Have a great weekend. Good night.